Okay. I think we done did it. So I got the counter here going. Let me see if I hit refresh here, if this will work. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right, yeah, we're live. Good. Let's see if I turn on comments. Good. Is anybody here? Probably not. And that's okay. I just want to make sure it works. You know, that's the main thing. Just want to see if anything was going to happen. Okay. All right, good, good, good. One person watching. I think that's me. That's cool. Two minutes. I don't have any fancy music yet either. It's just, like I said, I'm just testing this out to see what's going on. I have just a couple of things that I can do here. I didn't really set anything up elaborate. Like I said, this is just a test, and then if someone does show up, then we'll hang out. And if no one shows up, then this will be a short stream and it'll serve as good test. But I'm not going to delete it. I will leave it. Hey, all right. Someone hit the like. Someone's lurking. That's good. Awesome. All right, $1.20, and then we'll get this counter out of the way at least, and then we'll talk about a few things. I don't know what. Like I said, you know, I can talk a little bit about Google Fi. You know, weather is one of my favorite things, for sure. But there, you know, lots of other stuff going on. It's Memorial Day weekend, so probably everyone's going camping, right? Isn't that the way that works? I would think. When I was growing up in Oregon, that's what we'd be doing. There's places to camp here in Texas, too. It's getting a little warm, though. That was the thing about living in Arizona. It's like, let's go camping. Well, we better drive to the mountains because it's too hot down here in the valley. All right, 30 seconds. Sorry, my watch went off. I tell you what we will talk about, since at least one person's watching. I'm expecting my new phone tomorrow, so we can talk a little bit about my phone addiction. That's going to be fun. I'm excited. 7, 6, 5. We have main engine starts and liftoff. Liftoff of the stream. I don't know. Of the test. Oh, look at this. I still have this here. So here's what happened. I started a podcast at JesusIsComingSoon.org, and I had a friend of mine who was going to be my first guest, and we just couldn't get the internet going. So it just did not work out. So I'll get rid of that, and in fact, I'll just make this a little bigger here in Ecamm Live. Now, I've also applied to be an affiliate with Ecamm Live. So if that comes through, which I'm sure it will, to be honest with you, then I'll start telling you more about this software that's really cool. It's for Macs only. So it's Mac software. You may have heard of Ecamm Live. And I mean, the capabilities here are amazing on what you can do. Like here was my setup with me and my guest, Brian. He's not here. But there you can do all kinds of things. And you see how the names were flying in and all that stuff. And about my phone addiction, if you're not aware. So right now, this webcam here, and if you've watched any of my videos, you probably know this. That is my iPhone 13 mini that I'm using as a webcam, which does a really great job, and I love it. Now, I still have my Google Pixel 6 Pro, which in my last video I kept calling the Google, what did I call it? The Google 6 Pro? All right, it's a Pixel 6 Pro. And tomorrow, between 8:30 and 10:30, supposedly, they'll be delivering the Galaxy S22 that I ordered. So that, just the regular one, the 6.1 inch screen, the basic one, that, again, if you watched my last video, you saw that I ordered it on Google Fi. And so I didn't get the $500 off, but I did get $300 off, which is still a great deal. And what I'm going to do tomorrow, when I get the phone, obviously I'm going to activate it, and I'll turn it on Fi. And of course, because that's part of the promo details, to get the savings, I have to be on Fi for 120 consecutive days. So I'll get that activated right away, and I'll start using the phone. Probably my first order of business will be tomorrow. I'll probably head over to the park with the new phone and with the Pixel 6 Pro, and I'll do some camera tests. Probably the main thing I'm most interested in is the zoom capability of the S22 compared to the zoom capability of the Pixel 6 Pro. The S22 has a 50 megapixel main lens. The Pixel 6 Pro, if I remember right, I probably should look this up, has a 50 megapixel main lens. The 4-time lens on the Pixel is amazing, and the 3-time lens on the S22 we'll see. And so what I'm really interested in is, how both phones look and compare with each other on that 10 times zoom. Now the Pixel will zoom in, I believe, 20 times max. Looks terrible at 20 times zoom. Looks like an oil painting. I don't know that the S22 is going to be able to do any better than that. S22 can zoom in up to 30 times. I have a feeling the S22 is going to do a better job zooming. Although again, 10 times zoom on the Pixel 6 Pro is pretty usable. Looks pretty good. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is get the phone activated and get it set up the way I like, and then I'll head over to the park and I'll do a comparison. And I'm going to bring the iPhone 13 mini with me as well, because as we all know, Apple is the king when it comes to video. And so I'll do a comparison with all three of them. And I'm not super happy with the Pixel video. It's not bad, but it's not great. I've done a couple of videos on this channel where I'll sit under a tree, kind of my favorite tree there at Higginbotham Park, which is 1.1 miles that way. I'll sit under my favorite tree there, and I've used the iPhone 13 a couple times. It looks great. I've used the Pixel a couple times, and one reason why I like is because I can use this lavalier mic with the Pixel. When I use it with the iPhone, it distorts for some reason. So I got this on Amazon Prime Day years ago for cheap. I don't know, it was like $14 or something. So I really love this lav mic, and I've got the adapter, the USB-C adapter. I lost the Lightning adapter, but again, doesn't matter because it distorts on the newer phones. It used to sound good on the iPhone XR. But after that, it just, after the, what was after the XR? I know on the 12 it distorted. The 11 distorted too, so I've had all those phones. I have such a phone addiction. Anyway, I'm going to take all three phones to the park as well, and I'm interested in the video test on the S22. And what I'll do is I'll compare the front-facing camera. The S22, I think, that's the weak spot. It's only a 10 megapixel, I believe, on the front-facing camera. And the iPhone has the 12 megapixel. The Google, I can't remember what it is, but I think it's bigger. I think it's more megapixels than 12, I think. I know that the S22 Ultra has amazing front-facing camera, and so the megapixels are much greater there. So I couldn't afford the Ultra. I really want the Ultra, but I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford it. And so assuming everything works the way I think, first of all, I think that video is going to be interesting, and hopefully you'll be interested in watching it. You know, the zoom comparisons with the Pixel 6 Pro with just the regular S22, and then the video comparisons with the iPhone 13 and the S22 and the Pixel. I'm not going to do them side by side, I don't think. Although I think with this Ecamm Live software, I could probably do it pretty easily. I probably can put them side by side, so maybe I will. And we'll see, you know, the side by side tests I'm not as enamored with. The thing is, when you're using your phone, you don't have it side by side with your previous phones. So that's, to me, it's not the best test. Although I watch all those videos, believe me. And I do kind of, you know, pixel peep with the creators who make those videos, just to see what the differences are, and, you know, see if I care. I think the Samsung's going to have, for my taste, I really like the Pixel phones. I really like the 4x zoom on the Pixel. To me, that's the best lens, and I've gotten some really great shots with it. The iPhone, I don't like it as much with what they've done with the HDR. It's a little too flat, although you can certainly tweak it. They've got the different filters you can put on it. So that's good. The one thing I like about the Samsungs, and the last Samsung I had was the Note 20. Now, I've taken some really good pictures with that Note 20. That's when we had the February cold snap here in Texas, and I mean, it was cold. I think it was below zero for like 8 or 9 days. We didn't get above zero, and the Playa Lakes froze over, and we had a couple snowstorms during that time. It was just epic, because I love winter and I love snow, and I just was having so much fun. And I took some really good pictures with that Note 20 during that time, and some videos too. And I've had the Note 10 before the Note 20, and I really enjoyed the video quality from that. I was really impressed with it, to be honest with you. To me, it kind of rivaled the iPhone. So a lot of this is personal preference, but I think the Samsung, to me, is going to be an upgrade in a couple ways. The cameras are going to be just fine, and you have Pro Mode, and you can, you know, in the Pro Mode in the app, you can tweak all the settings and really dial in the shots you want on the Samsung. And Apple doesn't offer anything like that unless you use a third-party app for that. And the the Pixel, kind of in between, on the screen, you've got a couple sliders. You can, you know, adjust the shadows, and you can adjust the brightness, and you can adjust the tint, which is helpful. But again, with the Samsungs, you have much more control. So I think I'm going to enjoy that better. What I do want to do too is I want to go to the road out here at night and see if I can open up the exposure on the Samsung and see if it'll let me do that, and see if I can get some light trails. You know, they've got a gimmicky thing on the Pixel where you can supposedly shoot night light trails. It does not work for me. I cannot get it to work. I've tried it a few times. I just gave up on it. So the Pixel, you know, has, you know, you can erase people, and you can take a picture and you can erase stuff and I have used that a couple times. Actually, it comes in handy. The Samsung has that as well. So I think I'm really going to enjoy the Samsung phone. My biggest worry is, you know, it's a smaller phone with the 6.1 inch screen, which is going to be fine, even though my eyesight at almost 60 years old, can you believe that? My eyesight's not what it used to be up close. So I have my reading glasses around here somewhere. Actually, I do have them right here. So I resisted as long as I could, but I do wear these now, like for reading and stuff, but I'm really resisting for, you know, not using them with the phone. So like I still have the Pixel 4a. This phone is tiny, and I can read it fine. My arms are still long enough. However, the problem with the 4a is it just does not get bright enough outside. So in the bright sun, you can't see the screen on the 4a because it's just not bright enough. The 4a takes good pictures. It's a Pixel phone, so it does a great job. You know, this screen is amazing on here. See this picture here? I don't know, it doesn't look great on camera, but I took that with the Note 20. That's what I was talking about. And it was really, that was a fun day. It was freezing outside. I don't know what it was. It was like 10 degrees or something. And I was out driving around, sliding around corners and stuff under control, but I was having fun on the roads. So that was good. And I did get a video. I've never published it yet still. I got a video of these guys were being pulled by a truck, and he was snowboarding behind this truck, and so he came around the corner, and I got my phone out just in time to catch them coming past me and then around the next corner. And I never did publish that video. Now last year we had another Arctic outbreak. I don't know what it's been with the last couple of years. It's been kind of fun. We had another Arctic outbreak last winter, and we had enough snow on the roads, and it was cold enough on the roads that I actually got behind someone who was being pulled by a sled. I don't know if you've seen the video on this channel, but it's there if you want to look it up. And I was, kind of following it pretty far back. I mean, at a safe distance. And they lost control and just bit it and just ran into a bumper of a truck. It looked worse than it was. They were fine. But I actually did publish that video. And, it's really weird with YouTube. My most popular video is when I was turning in my iPhone 10 for an iPhone 10R. And that video has like 20,000 views. And every year when we get to iPhone season, I start getting questions on that video. YouTube's serving that video up to people during iPhone season, because people are searching for, turning in their phones. And so I get questions, to this day. Hey, if I have this phone, can I turn it in for, what do they do? How does it work? It's kind of fun. That's like my most popular video on this channel. And so I kind of went with the phone stuff, and then that evolved into the Google Fi videos that I've done lately. And using the referral link, and I didn't put anything in the description, I don't think. I probably should have done that. You can use my referral link. And some people have used that. So that's pretty amazing. So thank you. They saved $20 and I saved $20 off my bill. So that's been kind of crazy. So I've been sticking with the tech videos, but you probably have noticed there's some weather videos thrown in, especially from the local park. I used to be a weatherman. You may have known that. You may know that. I don't know. Right now there's nobody watching, but maybe you will see this later. And so I enjoy doing weather videos as well. And I went on one chase last May, and I did a story time with that and threw a couple pictures up there. And it's got like 7 views or something. So I don't know. But when people subscribe to the channel, it's been more of the phone videos. So I think I'm going to stick with that for now. I could go full-blown weather and do weather forecast every morning kind of thing. I'm not interested in covering severe weather live like Ryan Hall Y'all does, or Pow Ponder on weather. I do enjoy his videos. And so, I kind of watch those too. I don't watch Ryan's forecast stuff, but I watch his live stuff sometimes. He does a really good job with the live stuff, but I prefer Pow's forecast videos. I just like his style better. Did you hear that? That plane was awfully close. Being a former weatherman and being intensely interested in weather, I have considered going that direction with this channel. I'm still eclectic enough, and I still have, 301 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing if you are one. That's just amazing to me. But it's a small enough channel still. I feel like I could go any direction, but you really do need to pick something and stick with it. So far it's been Google Fi. You want to talk about that for a little bit? We can do that. back to just me. Oh, hi, how you doing? So One UI with Samsung, I mean, it's better than Google's just vanilla. Oh, I woke up my hey Google, what time is it?
It's 5:23 p.m.
Oh, thank
And by
you.
the way, to hear about your upcoming events, just say, "What's on my calendar?"
Oh, no, thank you. She doesn't say thank you. Not like Echo does. Echo, what time is it?
It's 5:23 p.m. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Oh, she didn't say anything. Usually she'll say you're welcome or something. Echo is much more personable than Siri.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, A Few Dollars More was a 1965 spaghetti western directed by Sergio Leone and starring Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef.
I had no idea. Thank you. I don't know. Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 5:24 p.m.
Thank you. Oh, she's not listening either. That's fun. What was I talking about? Do you remember? Oh yeah, Samsung. So my first Samsung phone was the S22. Was it the 5? Remember when they had the 6 Edge? I know I had the 6 Edge. So before that was the 5. I think the 5 was my first phone, and it was really good. And it's funny because I was floating down the Salt River in Phoenix, and I had it on my chest, and I wasn't paying attention. It fell into the river, and I didn't notice it right away. So it's like I noticed it fast enough, I guess. And so I was like, so I jumped off my inner tube, and I was with some friends. And I was like, hang on, you guys. I got to find my phone. And I just waited in a straight line. And it was about waist deep water. And I found it. And, this is when phones were first getting IP ratings. So I don't remember, the IP rating was like 67 or whatever it was. And I found it, and it worked. So that was pretty good. My iPhone 5, back in the day, I washed that thing. I left it in my pants pockets and didn't check my pockets, and I washed my iPhone 5. Oh, hang on, I have it. It's right over here. Here it is, the iPhone 5. Look at these little round buttons. See that? Look at that. Oh my gosh. There it is, the iPhone 5. That's funny. I forgot I had it right over there. It doesn't turn on. It did for a couple days. It was pretty funny. After I washed it, it had Dane Bramage. It was just, the screen was foggy, and it just had scrambled brains for a couple days, and it's just died. One day it just died. So I kept it, because you can't turn it in if it has water damage. Definitely had water damage. So back to Samsung. The early days with Samsung, at least for me, I don't know, Samsung make phones before that? I think they did, but that's when they started catching on, really. And T-Mobile had just a smoking deal. So I got the 5, whatever it was called. I don't think it was S. Can't remember. I'll have to look it up, because then they went to the Edges after that. So anyway, I really liked the phone. The camera for the cameras that were out at the time were good cameras, and it was a really good phone. The biggest problem I had was you had a dedicated Bixby button, right? Which you still do, I think, but you couldn't remap it. So now you can remap it. They finally caved in after a couple of years of people complaining. So the Bixby button was a problem. And then I just so annoyed by all the duplicate apps from Samsung. So I'm still a little bit annoyed by the duplicate apps from Samsung. Why do I have these in? I don't need these. I don't have a guest. That's too funny. Anyway, that's better. So the duplicate apps are still there, but I think they're better, and they serve a purpose. A lot of them. I don't mind. Some of them I still will never use. Samsung Internet. I'll probably just use Firefox, that sort of thing. But anyway, the bloatware has gotten better and the apps are better. And with One UI, some of the Samsung App Store, there's some really good, functionality there that you can download some of those apps and really, do a lot with your phone. So, but the early days, it was just terrible bloatware and you couldn't get rid of it and it was just annoying. Then I got the 6 Edge, the infinity screen. Remember that, the marketing? And I would try to take pictures with the dang thing and all the false touches on the curved edge. It was so annoying. I got rid of that thing. And that's probably when I went to the iPhone 5. I don't know. So, and unfortunately I have this addiction with phones. I get a new phone every like 6 months. I think my record is 3 new phones in 1 year, and I think that was last year or the year before. And it's not like I can really afford all this, but somehow I do, jumping around from phone to phone. But the cool thing is, I like to tinker, and I like gadgets, and so it's kind of a hobby. It's entertaining, so it's kind of my entertainment budget, I guess. And so that's how I ended up with an iPhone 13, a Google 6, the Pixel 6 Pro, this thing, the iPhone 5 that I washed, and the Pixel 4a that I still have, and this thing works. This is my backup. And going back to Samsung, so I've had the Notes. What was my first Note? It wasn't the 7, it must have been the 6. Of course, the 7, I loved the Note 7, but they started blowing up. The poor Note 7. It started blowing up, and I still wasn't giving it back. And then finally, the airline said, if you have a Note 7, you can't fly. We're not going to let you on the plane with a Note 7. So I'm like, okay, I have to get rid of this thing. So I did, and they took it back and all that stuff. So that was fine. Did I get the Note 8? Can't remember that. I did have the Note 9 briefly. I had the Note 10, and the Note 10 was weird because they had the Note 10 and then they had the bigger Note 10 with the more features. I got the smaller one, and didn't really mind not having all the features. It was a great phone. And then from there, then they jumped to the Note 20 because they wanted to match the year with the branding. So I went from the Note 10 to the Note 20. And I had some iPhones in between. So I did. I had the iPhone 11 in there, I believe. The iPhone 11 was, before the Note 20, but after the Note 10. And then I should have kept the Note 20. The Note 20 was a great phone. I had no reason to jump to the iPhone 12 Pro like I did, not the Max, just the Pro. So I had the iPhone 12 Pro after the Note 20. It was just a big mistake. I should not have done that. And then I went from the iPhone 12 Pro to the Pixel 6 Pro, which I don't think that was a mistake. I don't know. I like them both a lot, but they both have their pluses and minuses. And then I wanted the S22 Ultra, which is effectively the Note 22, because they skipped the Note in 21. So the S22 Ultra is what I really wanted, and if I'd have kept the Note 20, I would have had a smoking trade-in, and I wouldn't have ended up spending the extra money jumping to those two phones in between. So that was a big mistake. I should have kept the Note 20 and then held on to it till the Samsung Note, or the Note 22 Ultra, the S22 Ultra. That would have been the best way to play that. But that's okay. I got to experience the Pixel. The biggest problems I have with the Pixel right now are the fingerprint reader has gotten better, but it's still annoying almost every day. Although it works, when it works, most of the time it works just fine. But sometimes I'll get a false touch on the edge of this screen, and that'll keep the fingerprint reader from working. That happens. And then sometimes when I'm trying to take a picture and then the picture app will shrink down, and I'll have to get it back, and again, false touches on the curved screen. And then when you switch from the wide lens, the regular lens, and then you want to do the 4x zoom, it'll do it, and then the picture will jump, and so it's like it's not smooth, and you have to wait for it to adjust before you take the next picture. It's always been like that. And just, these are small things. These are definitely first world problems, but the Pixel is just annoying in those different ways. Again, takes some great pictures, especially with that 4x zoom, but the Samsung takes, from every review I've seen, the S22 is going to take just as good of pictures, I think. And then we'll do the zoom test and see how we do 10 times in and even 30 times in on the S22 versus 20 times in on the Pixel, which I already know is not great. So that'll be interesting to me. But then Samsung One UI is better. I'll just be happier with it. And then next year, when they come out with the S23 Ultra, which will be the next Note phone, I shouldn't even commit to this because, first of all, I won't know if I'll be able to afford it. That's one thing. And then there's just no guarantee I won't change my mind between now and then. That happens a lot. So I'm not going to commit to wanting the S23 Ultra, but that's the plan in my head right now. So I'm looking forward to getting that S22 tomorrow. Definitely. All right, anybody show up yet? It still says one watching, and I have it open in a different window. So the one person watching is probably me. And I have not been keeping my eye on that number, so I don't know if people have popped in and said, nope, not for me, later. I don't know if that's happened or not. I used to see that on Twitch, and it's discouraging, but I don't care. I don't care right now. And a lot of times in my life when I say I don't care, it means I do, but I really don't. As far as, this is just a test. I want to see how Ecamm Live did. And so if I hit just the guest and I don't have a guest, will I see just the background? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's Brian's name. Yeah, Brian's a good guy. Just kind of sad the interview didn't go well. Someone's internet was not working, either mine or his. I don't, like I said, I'm not watching the live stream. I am right now on a big delay. It seems to be going smoothly, so I don't know. My internet's working fine right now, so I don't know if it was mine or if it was his. We're going to try again next week. It's a little disappointing because I was really happy or really excited about starting the podcast today. But it'll give me a little bit more time to iron some things out. And I've asked a couple people to be on, so maybe I'll get to do an interview on the podcast in between. If someone ever does see this, and if they do wait, how long have I been talking? 37 minutes. If someone does go 37 minutes into this video and they hear this part, the podcast, you can find out more about it, and you can definitely get it at jesusiscomingsoon.org. So that's the place to go. I've submitted it to Apple. I almost said iTunes. It's not iTunes anymore, but Apple Podcasts. I have not heard back from them yet, but it's only been a day or two. So I'd heard back from TuneIn rather quickly. So TuneIn is all good. So you should be able to hear the podcast on TuneIn. Google Podcasts said I successfully claimed the podcast as mine. So I'm assuming that means it'll be on Google Podcasts. So those are kind of the main ones. And I don't know if the plugin I'm using on my WordPress site is going to push it out to others or not. So we'll see how that goes. And then what else? I think I'm done talking. Like I said, this was mostly a test of the software. I'm glad it worked. If I get affiliate status with Ecamm Live, then I will probably go live regularly, just to let people know about the software. It's really cool. And I'm just scratching the surface on the capabilities on what it can do. And so, like I can do this countdown. And I can do anything I want with this countdown. So I can put a different background. I can put a video in the background. If I had access to copyright-free music, then I could be playing music during the countdown. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do. And, you know, when you have guests, like me and a guest, and then the names fly in, and I switch it to, you know, our websites, and they fly in, and J does not need to be capitalized, or just me, as I've called this. So Ecamm Live is great, and I'm just now learning it, and it's really simple to learn. So, assuming I get affiliate status, I'll be hawking the affiliate link on Ecamm Live and helping people with their lives, because it's, like I said, it's pretty cool. And I'm going to be using it for my podcast and that sort of thing. And maybe I'll turn this into a news channel. Maybe you didn't know this about me, but I am an award-winning journalist from a previous career. So I used to be a TV reporter and news photographer. And then I went from that to weatherman, and then from that to an anchor. So, and then I had a news talk radio show for years. So I could turn this into a news channel, and we could talk about the news of the day. That'd be fun. And I could bring interviews on for that. So that maybe that's another option. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna go back and on YouTube and see how this turned out. I'm assuming really well. It certainly seems like it has. And test complete. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters in your area have devised this test to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. Had this been an actual emergency, the 39 minutes of rambling you just heard would have been followed by news or official information. This concludes this test of the Ecamm Live radio network.